A wireless doorbell with 2K video? Let's check this out. Dave Taylor here, and I'm checking out this. This is the Nooie Cam Doorbell. Well, it's everything in the box. So it is the light, it is the base station, it is the mounting kit, and they have two different mounting kits. Here's one that's nice and easy to work with. And the actual doorbell cam itself is battery powered. So it has this honkin' 10,000 milliamp hour battery. Now, that is a big battery. You just snap it in on the back and it is ready to roll. And the reason you have that battery and why it's so big is this gives you up to 10 months without having to worry about recharging it. That is pretty sweet. Now, there are a lot of different cameras in this market segment, and most of them are wire required, or they have batteries that you have to charge every 5 or 6 months. So being able to get almost double is pretty sweet. Now, to be fair, I haven't tested it yet because obviously I haven't installed it. So we're gonna do that. That'll be the second half of this video. But before we do that, I just wanted to talk a little bit about all the components and how it works. So, like I said, battery powered up to 10 months without a charge. Let's go ahead and take this little cover off and you'll be able to see that it has the camera, it has a passive infrared sensor. I'll talk about that in just a moment. It has the doorbell, right? Because you're going to push that and people are going to actually ring the bell because they hopefully want to come into your home. Well, or if you let them. There's a speaker at the bottom because there's two-way communication. And on the back, there is the battery and there is this sort of secret quick release element which shows up on this, the mount plate. And there's two different mount plates. This is really cool. Oh, first off, there's a sticker to help you get your mount plate put on correctly. That is a good bit of thinking on their part. But sometimes when you mount your little bell, it can end up right next to a wall. So instead of you having to worry about that, they have a 15-degree mount plate that lets you just sort of tilt it away from there just a little bit so you get a better perspective. Now, with all of that, let me tell you that it gives you a live video feed option, 2K resolution, 158-degree field of view. It has night vision. It has that two-way audio. How do you do that? You do that from the app. So there's a Nooie app, and that app really is how you manage and control most of this. One thing that's really nice is it works with 2.4 or 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi networks. And like I said, it has that infrared sensor, and that will work. You can set it to be 6 foot, 10 foot, or 20 foot range. And you can also have it be where it only will notify you if it detects a human. So if you have dogs running up on your front porch or something, then they will not trigger you getting a notification and or you having some video saved. Now, one thing that's really nice is if we go back to this base unit, this is the thing that's going to ring inside your house. So this you'll plug in somewhere and then you'll be able to hear the ring. They're customizable. There's lots of ringtones you can choose from. We'll get there. But it also has a MicroSD slot on the side because you can locally save the recordings off of this system, which is great. You can put in up to 128 gig MicroSD card, which is going to give you a ton of recording space. If you don't want to do that, you can also use the Nooie Cloud, which lets you have your recordings in the cloud. Now, it does have a subscription cost, and it starts really inexpensive, but I gotta say, generally speaking, I like the idea of buying a product and not having to pay a subscription. So having this send the data to this and having this be something that I can communicate with on the app so I can see those video segments, that's a win to me. Now, I should mention, if it uploads the video to Nooie Cloud, they say that all the videos are encrypted, so even if someone makes it onto their server, they can't see any videos from you. That's pretty important, right? Now, it also has an anti-theft siren, because the thing I always think about with these, especially this one, this is a pretty substantial, this is one of the biggest ones on the market, is what if someone comes up and says, oh, that's cool, tear, right? So number one, not so easy to get this thing off once you mount it properly. But number two, it has a built-in siren and it will go bananas. So that's good to know. Finally, one more thing let me tell you is that there is the Nooie app, and that actually lets you work with Alexa or Google Home. So there is some limited ability for you to ask, for example, Alexa to show you, if you have a visual display device, to show you what's coming, the live stream from your doorbell cam. That's pretty sweet. All right, dimensions. It is 6.6 inches by 2.4 inches by 1.7 inches, or 168 by 60 by 44 millimeters, depending on what you prefer. And getting it all to work is pretty darn easy. I've worked with other Nooie devices before, but I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. And then once that's done, once it's paired and I'm ready to roll, then unfortunately I'll have to do this tomorrow, but I'm gonna do the install. So I'll actually do the installation, I'll talk you through what I did, and then we'll actually do some demos with it running. So let me go ahead and I'm gonna stop right now and get this thing all configured. I'll show you that super quick, and then we'll go on to the actual install. For the configuration, I've already downloaded the Nooie app, and if I go to cams, you can see no device yet. All right, we're gonna fix that. So I'm gonna go to add the device, and we'll just see how this goes. Here we go, Nooie, here are my options, Nooie Cam Doorbell. Let's choose that, and then make sure your doorbell battery is fully charged. That's a good reminder. And I already did this, but before you actually do that initial install, the battery is charged via USB-C, cable included. Charge it fully. And then when you put it in the doorbell, you then have 10 months, 8 months, I guess it depends on how often people come to your door, without having to worry about it. So we're good to go with that. Add device, plug the base station in. We're gonna do that. I happen to have power here. And then this is actually a button, so it's gonna actually change lights. And we wanna wait till it flashes blue. So I can only assume that that's something that it's gonna take a minute or so to get ready to do that. Okay, it's flashing blue, so I'm gonna choose LED flashing blue, and I'm gonna pick a current network, and we'll leave it at this network, and I'm gonna put this down and type in my network password. I am not gonna share that with you, just so you know, so we're gonna just jump forward 15 seconds. All right, looks like we should be good to go. I'm gonna go to connect, and now we need to choose this as a network. And so there it is, there's the Nooie. I choose it, and hopefully it works. We'll see. And then I go back to the app, which is easily done on an iPhone. And let's see, distance larger than 3 feet between the doorbell and everything. So I think what it's doing right now is it's actually just sort of configuring and pairing. You'll notice there's a countdown timer near the bottom that's telling me 165 seconds. It's a long time. Looks like I'm connected to the network, which is great. So now I can just choose next. And let's see, insert your doorbell battery and press the reset button once. It has that little tool. Now, let's see, we want to just see that it thought it detected someone. That would be me doing the setup. So now we want to press the reset button on the back once. And here's a close-up of what the back looks like so you can see that. I'm gonna press it. And then we're watching the LED. We want it to turn all white. Right now it's flashing blue, but it should become steady white after a short period of time. And it looks like I've got it all paired. And it's telling me in the app that we're good and I can continue. So let's see, push the doorbell to see if the base station rings. I think I got it this time. Let's try again. So they're both ringing. Yes, success. So continue. All right, next step now is to do the actual installation. This was a little bit more tricky than I expected, pairing the two, but mission accomplished. And now the easy part, right? Because we have the sticker to make sure we put things in exactly the right spot. And then I can choose which of the two base plates I'm going to use. And then once I have that installed, I just go ahead and click the doorbell on it and I'm done, and that's it. So let's go do that install. Let me walk you through the install pretty quickly. On the front door, you can see I have a pretty small doorbell. The size difference is pretty staggering, but the old one's an old wired doorbell, so we'll have to fix that. Easy enough. Unscrew it. You can see there's two wires. I basically covered them with electrical tape and shoved the whole thing into the hole in case I ever change my mind and want to go backwards. And then I used the handy mount foam to get the drill points in the right spot. Then I had the actual mount plate installed. And then at that point, it's super easy. All you have to do is clip the actual cam doorbell onto the mount plate. Mission accomplished. All right, so it's all installed and it's a bit big all in all, but it works really well. First off, let's go ahead and see what I'm seeing right now by going into the app. And you can see on the phone, this is what I'm seeing. Let's turn off the audio though. And if I do it sideways, you can see now I can zoom in. You can even see that I have a camera there and I have notes under the camera to remind me of exactly what I want to say. So that's pretty sweet. So some of the other stuff you can do in the app is you can go into settings, which I can do here. And now you can see there's a lot you can do remotely, including changing things like upgrading the firmware on the bell or the remote unit. I can go to audio video and modify settings so I can change the chime. I would like there to be more chime options, but this is what you get, a relatively small number. I'm hoping that over time that Nooie will add maybe some classic doorbell sounds. I mean, why not, right? These all are a little bit more sort of smartphone sounds. And you can change video, turn off night vision. One of the ones I've found most important is that motion sensor. Make it as high as you can. You can see there are 3 levels of sensitivity. Turn it all the way up because then it starts recording a little earlier so you get better footage. So what does that footage look like? Well, let's go ahead and look. Last night I actually had this all set up and I have 2 examples of footage. This first one is with the porch light on, and this is pretty generally what you would see in my house because I always leave my porch light on. But let's say the porch light was off and it was a more dark environment. This is what that would look like. One more thing I want to show you is that I do have a MicroSD card installed in the base unit, and you can see here that it is 29.6 gig available, and there's also a remote format button, which is very helpful when you put in a new card. Always go ahead and just format it. And that's really it. There's really not much else to talk about. It's big. I do have it pretty well installed on there. I can obviously ring the bell. I don't know if you can hear, but I have the base unit inside and it's still ringing. You do get things like now this is showing me the front door view because I actually have someone at the front door, right? So that is exactly what you want this to do, you know. So my upside, my positives on this is that it's easy to work with, it's easy to configure, it works with your phone exactly as you would want. And the downside, if there is that it's pretty big. So this is a pretty chunky doorbell, but at least with my setup, it's a pretty easy one to install. I replaced my little tiny doorbell with this, and obviously I just significantly improved my functionality. So not much else to share. I hope you found this super helpful. This was a lot of work to get this all assembled the way it did, but it's totally worth it because this is a really interesting product. So before I give you the price and talk about that, I'm going to ask if you could subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and click or tap on that subscribe button, and we're connected. Really appreciate that. Great. This is the Nooie Cam Doorbell, and it is $149.99 at Nooie.com. But I noticed that if you sign up for their mailing list, you get 10% off. So ostensibly, it's $149.99 minus 10%. So that's not a bad price. It is easy to install. You don't have to worry about wiring. All you need to do is have a drill and be able to drill 2 holes. That's it, and you're done. Easy enough. So definitely one worth checking out in the smart doorbell category. And with that, I think I need to go inside and calm my animals who are wondering why the doorbell keeps running and ringing. So I'll have to catch you in my next video.